I have no filter these days. Yeah, it's a fake way of bonding, really.
Quiet.
So,
Did not go well.
and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back that led to my total emotional breakdown. Thank you, Melissa, for listening to your intuition.
My mom being dead.
And Angie.
Just see you next time.
See you next time. Okay, let's go fast. 1, 2, 3.
Unquiet soul.
Okay.
Hi. Happy
Hi,
Monday.
Happy Monday.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Also okay. There's nothing particularly wrong. Well, that's not true. This is the current stressor of my life that I'm trying not to be stressed about because, I'm trying to be all faithful and whatever. But a client sent me a payment and she likes to pay via PayPal. And this was the last time she's going to do that because of this happening. But for some
I already know
reason,
what you're
this
gonna
time,
say.
I was like, oh, Mercury retrograde, love you for that. It acted like she sent it via e-check, and so it's not clearing until the 13th. And I'm like, it would be better. I'm watching my words, but it would be better to have that in my account right now. So yeah, I can tell I'm stressed about it just because tension, but I'm trying so hard not to be, but it's like, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Also, like it's rare that this happens to me, but when you have like stuff coming in and out of your account, like sometimes because of the timing of things clearing, like there have been times a payment doesn't clear just because you know,
Right.
I there's like all this activity going on and I think I have enough money and like one payment may or may not go through and I'll resolve it right away. But my point is like you're relying on this other person being on top of what's going in and on of their account. And yeah, there's like all these variables that you have to put your
Yeah.
trust
And
in.
I just don't love PayPal. They already take so much in fees and whatever, but I was being like
Yeah, I thought
gracious
you were
about
actually
it.
gonna say like the fee. I hate that. Because someone
Yeah,
has
they
to
take
pay
a
the
lot of
fee.
fees. Yeah, they
Yeah.
take a lot of fees. And I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. But I mean, this is the last time she's going to pay that way. But I don't even know because I'm like, okay, so what's my belief that's creating this? Because I'm tired of dealing with financial stress. And it's funny because with the Taurus and full moon, we're supposed to be revisiting kind of a cycle that was happening 6 months ago, which was this very type of thing. And I did not handle it well at all. Like all my clients were taking the summer off, like just, very low income. And I just like didn't know what to do. And so there was like almost the whole summer of just my bank account being very negative, like just the whole summer. And so I finally started doing Uber Eats, which I did yesterday. I did over the weekend, but like all that money has been used up now. So like it's just like, oh, and I
Yeah.
can't go again until Wednesday. So I know I'm supposed to like chill out and just continue to believe, but I'm tense and I know there's something there that's causing the fear that like it's not going to work out, but
Do you
I
know
know
who
it will.
James Wedmore is?
Mm-mm.
He's a coach. Look him up. I like a lot of his stuff, but I recently he did this money challenge thing. And I'm glad I signed up because I was having these reservations because it was a paid course. And I'm like, I've already done all this inner work. I know what my issues are, blah, 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 blah. But I also was like feeling some money blockages and I could feel that I wasn't open to receiving. That's what my main thing was. So I was looking for how to fix that. So I was like, well, maybe this course will help me how to fix it. And it was I had so many epiphanies during that course, and the primary one was because he really gets you to dig into your money beliefs. And in doing that, I realized how all of my beliefs about money actually weren't even my own beliefs. They were beliefs that my parents had, and I accepted them as
Yeah.
the truth. And despite doing all of this inner work on myself, I was like, oh my God, I'm still blindly following my parents' limiting beliefs. So yeah, my point is, I highly recommend digging into, like, peeling back the onion layers and finding what that core belief is that's causing the fear, because it's probably not even your own belief. And it's
Yeah.
and our beliefs are beliefs anyway, they're not truths. So just even coming to that conclusion can be very helpful.
I've been doing lots of work around this since like things got really bad for a little bit. They've been very good for a little bit now. Not like but not stressful. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
they I've been managing fine. Then I told you I lost the hospice job and I was like, cool,
Y
cool. Like just as things were like
Which I
feeling
think that's
secure.
part of the lesson that you need to learn here.
Oh, absolutely. But like I know that somewhere in there, it's a belief around worth and like deserving. And I've been giving this a lot of thought in general in the last few days because I listened to Caleb Heron's podcast and he's a comedian, but um I was Ubering yesterday and listening to him, and this is something that continues to come up, so I know I should pay attention to it. But he was talking about how he doesn't feel like he deserves the life he has because to say he deserves it would be to say somebody else doesn't deserve it. But in the last few months, I've come to kind of the opposite conclusion, which is we all deserve anything, like all of it. We all deserve a happy, peaceful, abundant life. And it just boils down to our belief around that
Yeah.
and systems and whatever. But I'm talking about from a spiritual perspective only. It does all boil down to our belief around deserving and worthiness. And like I even heard like my son talking to his friend one day. She was giving herself kind of a hard time about the fact that she's able to go work out and take care of herself, but just chooses not to, as if it's that simple, right? Like, oh,
Mm.
I'm just taking for granted, da 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 da. And he was like, I heard him talking her through that. And it made me think then too, like, well, but when we compare ourselves to someone else's situation and we say, I should just be grateful because my situation could be as bad as theirs, we're saying, I might deserve that situation too. But what if neither of us deserve it and that's just where they're at right now for whatever reason? For whatever reason they're there, but
Yeah.
nobody deserves to live a life of shit. We
Right.
all deserve more. And so I think that's really what I've been trying to work on, and, I mean, that's really what's even, like, feeling a stir when I talk about it, is just, like, reminding myself getting into the energy of worth and deserving, not just thinking it, but, like, remembering that I was born inherently with all of my worth and value, like, that I get that regardless of what I do, and I think where I get tripped up is, like, um I think where I've stressed is like, am I doing enough to be this is gonna sound really crazy, okay? But like to be deemed worthy enough to receive by the energy of money. Because I listened a lot to that money book and it talked about like, if your business that you're trying to do isn't there yet, then you need to be doing like the practical shit and then working on your business every day. And I'm like, I'm doing both. But I'm tired. Like, I didn't Uber as much as I could have the last couple weeks because I was exhausted.
Yeah.
But then I shamed
Um,
myself a little bit.
there's so much you're saying that I'm resonating with that I don't even know where to start. But one of the things that you said that is something I've struggled with is, and this came from my mom as well, not even just with money, but if I wanna be in my feelings about something, I tend to gaslight myself, "Well, other people have it worse," or, like, and start
Mhm.
comparing yourself to other people, but we're all on our own distinct journeys, so that's irrelevant in the first place, but I think that, that's what a lot of people struggle with, though, because you wanna still be grateful for what you have, and you can be, as well as feeling these other feelings. So that's one thing I've really learned and sometimes still struggle with is feeling the gratefulness, but also feeling the frustration of not having everything that I want, that I also deserve.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird little thing. I guess I'm still
Yeah.
always wondering if I'm doing it wrong. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing is I'm always like, "It's because I'm not doing something right, and I just gotta figure out what it is."
Well, and here's another thing. This was another epiphany I had. And this is also because I was in corporate America for a very long time, and now I'm an entrepreneur. There are so many differences in the mindsets. And one of the other epiphanies I had is I'm still in this mindset of like, you have to hustle, you have to be productive, you have to do this, you have to do that. And that is a huge part of making money because you have to take action. You can't just be like, oh, just come to me,
Right.
money. But there is a receiving component, and he speaks to it as, and I know you'll resonate with this, as like the masculine and feminine, because the masculine is the doing and the feminine is receiving. But whether you're a male or female, you need to embody both of those. Like, yes, you need to work to get the clients, but then you also have to like have those moments of rest. So I resonated in what you were just saying about being exhausted. And I struggle with this too, because when you're exhausted, you want to keep pushing because you want to keep earning and being productive or
Mhm.
whatever. But I think that's the natural cycle of when you should, and even though it feels counterintuitive because you're not where you want to be, but that's the natural cycle of where now it's time to receive and let your body rejuvenate. And then you can get back into the like productivity and action items. And I know that's
Yeah.
way easier said than done because I struggle with this too. That's why I'm resonating with a lot of what you're saying.
It just sucks because I do work on my business every day in terms of, like, the things I'm doing, but, like, none of that shit makes me money. Like, I haven't had a single entrepreneurial client, you know? I don't sell very many workbooks,
Mm,
like, I do that shit every day, but I work well, I guess I'm not marketing that stuff very much, but I am starting to, like, just through my blueprint thing, um, getting more intentional about putting, like, my voice out there since that's, like,
yeah,
my medium, you know? Um but I feel like I need to be doing more, like, actual money things to help me in the interim, and I just don't have the fucking energy for it. And when I do that, it takes away the energy that I have to do the things that I
yeah.
love to do. So that's where it sucks
Well,
because I have to do something for money, and I don't want to do those things, but I do them, you know?
I know. And this is where I struggle too because the stuff that you're talking about that you're investing in and want to investing in the long term, it does generate income. But it's hard to see that now. And another thing I'm learning about the entrepreneur times mindset is like entrepreneurs don't trade their time for money. And
Right,
that is so hard to grasp because, to your point, when you trade your time for money, the rewards are immediate. And that's why we get fixated on that cycle.
right, right,
Because the entrepreneur mindset is like, I'm investing in these things now and I don't see the money now, but it comes later. And that is so hard for me to wrap my brain around.
right, right. Well, and I guess in this conversation, I'm feeling a shift too, like, I could be doing more to market myself, but
But you could always
I'm
be
not.
doing more. Even the people
Right.
who are on Instagram every day, they're probably thinking the same thing. So there's like
Yes, that's so true. That's a
technically
good point.
there's always more that you could be doing. You could
That's
work
so
12 hours
true.
a day and there's still more to do.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm working hard. Like, I feel very proud of the effort I put in. Now, it's mostly podcast stuff, but that's where my passion is, you know? And
And
that
that's
and that's
and that's
where
a
I wanna
long-term game too.
Yes, yes, and I believe in it so hardcore. I really do. In both of these shows, I really do. And so it's not for nothing. And I have to remember that just because I'm not seeing a monetary gain from it yet doesn't mean that at some point I won't. But in the meantime, I have to do these other things to make money, like take on shitty clients through insurance that I don't fucking want.
Mm.
Or go do Uber Eats, which is sometimes fine and sometimes not fine. I have less hours that I'm available to do it now because of the sunlight, because I can't drive after dark, because I can't fucking see the house numbers and stuff. And it gets a little dicey,
Oh.
like you could be taken to a shitty
Oh,
ass area
because you
that I
have to
maybe
go to their
wouldn't mind.
door.
Yeah. And I don't mind doing some of that during the daytime, but I'm not doing that at dark. Like I'm just
No, I
not.
don't blame
So
you.
there's those things to contend with too, and it's frustrating because I don't know, I guess this sounds really whiny, but I'm like, I do deserve better than that. Like, I fucking deserve more than
So
that.
wait, okay, pause here. Like, because what I'm hearing you say, first of all, you're putting your physical safety at a higher priority than money. Also, you just acknowledged, like, I deserve more than this. So that's exactly the energy you need to be in to receive abundance. So you're like on the right path. That's how I'm looking at it.
Okay, okay,
Again, like, and maybe the lesson here is patience. And I feel like I'm preaching to the choir because I am like the most impatient person ever. But I feel like you're in the right energy most of the time.
okay. Well, that's helpful, thank you, because,
Because, like,
I
that's
don't
what I'm
talk about this
reflecting back
very
to you.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, just based on what you just said, like, if you're putting your physical safety at a high priority and you know what you deserve, like, it's just a matter of time. Have you ever read, The Parallel Universes of Self?
no,
First of all, I highly recommend it. It's a super, super deep read. Like, I can only read like 10 minutes at a time, and then I just need to process. It's about the concept of, like, there's different simultaneous realities going on at the same time. So the version of you that has everything that you desire right now, that person's already living in a different reality. You just need to embody that energy, and then you step in to that reality. It's basically the
yeah,
act as if theory on steroids, because instead of acting as if you are that person, but somewhere in that book he talks about there has to be a delay, because when you embody that energy you don't just immediately jump to that other reality, because it would
yeah,
send your nervous system into like a total freaked out state. So there has to be that delay for your nervous system to adapt and for you to allow it to adapt. So another reason why I'm thinking this is a good thing, because you're protecting your nervous system by putting yourself in physical safety and doing what you deserve. So it's just that delay of priming your nervous system to be ready to jump into that other timeline. So there has to be that delay because of to regulate your nervous system, which is exactly what you're doing.
yeah, and okay, so you just made me think of a few things. One is that, this is just reconfirming to me, I have to get more serious about a hygiene. I have to get more serious about energetic hygiene work, about starting my
Yeah.
day and ending my day, having regular check-ins of getting into this energy. Because right now, in this very moment, not stressed at all. Not stressed at the fucking slightest. Okay, and then I had some synchronicities. So,
I love
one of the
synchronicities.
first times that I did Uber Eats, I was driving to a house and passed this house, and I was like, "Holy shit, I love that house, dream house, whatever." I passed it and realized that was the house I was supposed to be delivering to. And then 2 days ago, I had a delivery to that house again. And I also have had, totals come up to 616, my birthday, which I started getting that number a lot a couple of years ago, which I felt like was just a confirmation of like, you're gonna be okay. Like that was it always came
Yeah.
up when I was like worried about something. And there's been several like uh someone's order number was 44404. Fours are huge for me, like, because most of my shit happened in year 44. So there's, like, a lot of synchronicities lately. So it's like I know, but then I can really get stuck into the 3D reality of what's in my current present and be like,
Okay. And that's another thing that book talks about is, and again, this is all part of regulating your nervous system because it's so easy because you can embody the energy and then you see evidence in your 3D reality that you're not where you want to be. But you can just use that as a reminder that, like, hey, I'm still in my old reality, but I'm shifting into my new reality. So you can accept it for
Yes.
what it is, but still
Yes.
acknowledge that you're moving forward, if you know what I mean. Because we tend to look
Absolutely.
at it as a bad sign, but the fact that you're
Mhm.
even acknowledging it in your 3D is a sign that you're in this different mindset and shifting toward your new reality. And that's what this book is so
Absolutely.
deep, but I highly recommend it because I'm
Yes. That
only
sounds
explaining it like
awesome.
at a super basic level. Yeah, and it's super thick too.
Yeah, will you text me the name of it again?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, but yeah, okay, well, that makes me feel a lot better. I guess it's good I talked about it because it was just weighing on me today. It hasn't been, but every day has been like I felt fine because I made some money, but it went right out of my account this morning, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna last a couple more days." I'm like, "Fuck."
Also, like, I don't think we should minimize the current economic conditions because I went grocery shopping the other day and it's like, what the hell? Everything costs so much. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, like, the prices of some vegetables have doubled,
Yeah.
which, like, for vegetables, that's still relatively inexpensive, but it's like, think of it, our wages and income have stayed relatively the same over the past few years, yet the prices of everything have just gone up so much. So, that in
Mhm.
general is just a frustrating environment to be in, and I think sometimes we don't stop and acknowledge that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything's more. Yeah, and also though, another synchronicity so I think I told you this, but, like, I've been kinda toying with the whole, like, I'm the creator of this reality, right? And I've been doing it with
Yeah.
my other podcast, and, I started with the number 750 because I was like, "That would be really cool to get." Oh, it started last month where I was like, "That would be really cool to get that many downloads this month." Because
Mm,
I range from about 560 to 630 is about average for a month,
okay.
and I was like, "That would be really cool," but I did get very close to that, and I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna keep picturing that number until it becomes the reality." Bitch, I got almost 300 downloads in 1 day last week, and not off one
Yes.
episode. Like, it was obvious that a few people were binging content and then just random people just listening to an episode here and there, and I was like, "Holy
Yeah,
shit, like, 300 downloads? That's wild." And so I just keep
that is
picturing
wild.
like, I think 100% I think I'm gonna hit 750 this month if things keep going that way because I'm I'm over 400 already, and we're just in the 2nd week of November. And so I just keep picturing it. And so I need to keep like I want to start I'm getting that money book says like play with it in the small ways so that you can get that like confidence in the bigger ways and it
Yeah.
really is helping me. It was just today things were just I'm sure it's Monday. Monday's ruled by the moon and you get a little more in your feels and the astrology sucks and Mercury retrograde sucks. So like I'm sure it's just all that and I've been a little lazy today so I had a little more time to feel sorry for myself, but overall, it's been like, I've been happy. In fact, I got an email from a listener from that show, and, she was like, "By the way, you seem a lot happier. Like, you just, when you do your intros and whatever." And since about late July, early August, when I started doing Uber Eats more consistently, like, I really have been because I mean, I was, like, negative 500 all summer, like, in my bank account. It was
Oh,
so
really?
bad. It was so bad. Yeah, because my husband and I don't share bank accounts, probably for the best.
Mm,
And so,
yeah.
like, he pays the household stuff, but, like, I'm responsible for, like, my car payment and some other stuff, and it adds up, man, and, like, I haven't even been paying my student loans in months because of it, and I'm like,
Oh,
"Okay, I gotta
really?
get that shit." Yeah, I gotta get that shit taken care of, but, one thing at a time, it is what it is. I'm not stressed about that because 'cause I'm like, "Well, y'all were supposed to forgive the student loans, and you didn't, so
I was just
I
gonna
guess you'll
say, like,
take
can't
that."
you jump on that bandwagon? I don't know how it works
Well, I applied for it,
because they were
like
Oh,
September of last year and was denied, even though I've paid the amount of times. They were First of all, they said my student loan was in default, and it wasn't. That was the first late payment I made, but at that time, it was, like, 7 to 10 days late. I wasn't in default. And some
mm.
other reasons that I was too, like, stressed because it was, like, the beginning of the entrepreneurial journey for me, and so I just didn't even address it. I was just like, "Oh, okay, well, fuck you," and I quit paying it, so
Yeah, you think it's defaulted now. Just wait till a few months from now.
Yeah, I think I made 1 or 2 more payments, and then I was tired of choosing to pay that before my car payment because of my credit, and I was like, "Well, they can repossess my car. They're not gonna
I was just gonna
repossess
say,
anything
yeah.
else, so I'm gonna start paying my car payment." So, yeah,
Plus, I feel like
it's been a good
student
time.
loans are like it's just like such a joke.
It just sucks because 'cause
Because like,
I've
what
paid,
do they
I
do
put
if
in
you
my time.
default?
Oh, they do a lot, they do a lot.
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
Okay.
but we owe in taxes, so they can't take our taxes. I'm an entrepreneur, so there's no money for them to take, like, out of my paycheck. Like, they can't do shit to me except for fuck my credit up, which I'm sure it is, but what am I gonna finance right now, you know? So, I'm like, "Eh, it'll
Well,
be alright."
also, I think credit scores are going away because there was talk about how for loans, they were they were actually gonna, like, give priority to people with low credit scores to, like, give them relief as well. So, the whole
Really?
system is, like, messed up. Yeah,
It's a
I
weird little
haven't heard
thing.
any
Yeah, I
talk
can't
about
even be
that in a
bothered.
while.
Yeah, I never heard anything about that. But I mean, they're not like harassing me and hounding me the way I would have expected them to. So that money book says
But that's
like
what I mean.
at least put your shit on paper, know where you're at. And so I need to sit down and do that. Like with all of my debts. Cause I have a few credit cards. Whatever. I just need to sit down. I've paid the minimum payments and there's a little bit of wiggle room and I don't spend what's there, like I'm trying to
Yeah,
deal with them, but for now it is what it is. But I do think part of my shit is like, listen, I'm charging a lot to work with me. I'm charging a lot because I'm worth that, but I'm real scared. But what I've been telling myself is nobody fucking came for the free sessions. Nobody came for the reduced price sessions. So fuck it. It the business doesn't change either way. And at least this way, because it's all about protecting your energy and
yeah,
doing what you love to do that lights you up, but you don't have to like hustle for it. So I'm charging what I'm charging
yeah.
and I'm not gonna lower it. I'm not gonna allow myself to lower it.
And also, when you lower your prices, you lower the energy around it, and that's how you attract the clients you don't really wanna work with anyway. So it's like,
Mhm.
just charge what your value is, and that way you attract who you wanna work with.
Yeah, and maybe it's gonna take a while, but I'm getting better about, so the I had an epiphany that, like, whenever I'm posting my, other episodes, I never post me talking because the guest doesn't want to accept a collaboration request when I'm
Mm.
talking. But I was like, "Well, okay, but what's stopping me from posting one clip of me talking too, and just don't add them as a collaborator on that one?"
I was just gonna say
So I've
that,
started to
yeah.
do that. I've started to do that, like, I'm slowly incorporating more and more and more ways to get my voice out there, and I think it'll be fine. It's just, it was a rough morning about thinking about it. Well, because I had just looked at my bank account too right before. I thought I would have a little bit in there, and I had 0, $0, and I was like, "Oh, mhm."
Also, do you ever do you track your wins or celebrate your wins? Because I feel like in all the stories that you've just told me, like you have more downloads, you're doing more, you're like, I feel like there are good things happening, but again, it's just a longer term game. So if you focus on the things that you're doing well and with the acknowledgement that it is a longer term game, I think that would also help when you fall into these
True.
like, but I want to see the results now.
Yeah. Yeah, because probably not enough. I mean, the downloads I really have, and maybe that's why they're still going up. Because 'cause I'm like, like
You're focused on it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I look at it like 2 or 3 times a day, and sometimes I'm like, "Holy shit, like, it went up again?" It's crazy because that is where my focus on. And so what's growing? My downloads. So I need to, yeah, that's a very good point. I need to do more of that. I feel like I've
Yeah, I try
commandeered
to
this
do
whole
that every
conversation.
week. You what?
Yeah, I'm going to. So I feel like I've commandeered this whole conversation. What's going on with you?
No, this is a good topic though. What is
Okay,
going
good.
on with me? Um, trying to think, what happened last week? I don't remember. I feel like I should be better prepared.
You
Oh, I know what
said
I was
what?
oh, I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
give you the update. Remember how I
That's
was
what I was
telling the
about to
story
say.
about that
Yes.
guy thing?
Yes.
Um, so I saw him one day and I maybe this is immature, but I was just like, I don't have the energy to deal with his energy, so I just ignored him. So I don't
Mhm.
even know if he looked at me or whatever. Um, but I observed him from a distance and he just looked so unhappy and miserable. So my point is, I used to take a lot of things personally, but I think this is a good reminder that most times the way people are treating you is just a reflection of them and what's going on in their life.
Mhm. You know when I see that the easiest? When a client's talking to me about a conflict they're in, sometimes I'm like, "But why did you even engage in that?" Like, what
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what that but that wasn't about you so clearly. Yet, I'll be the first to be like, "You motherfucker, I can't believe you just talked to me like that," right? And
Right.
so that kind of ties into the update I was going to give about this practice that I'm trying to be better about not talking shitty to my husband. I would say out of 7 days, okay, I will say I did not intentionally practice the pause not a single fucking time. But the beautiful thing about our subconscious is you talk about it enough and it'll be like, "Do you remember?" So
Oh,
yesterday
yeah.
I sat down to be like a giant bitch and immediately shifted my language. Like immediately. Cuz I
Mm.
was bitching about household shit and I was like, blah, 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 and then I was like, "Okay, pause." And I was like, I recognize and started to like, you know, see his side and whatever and say like I recognize your point and I recognize this and da 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 da. So really we just need to like figure out a way to do this together. It's not either of our responsibilities alone. And the conversation just immediately shifted. His body language shifted, his energy shifted, and then I went off to do what I was going to do and it was like, man, that was so much easier than just like the big fight I would normally start. I would say one day, granted, I had PMS last Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday started my period, so, like, um, but really overall, I would say I did pretty good for not being, like, super intentional about practicing the pause, but man, my subconscious was right there making me do it even without me, like, I'm rewiring already just from having a conversation about it.
Yes, and this is the women I work with, this is what I tell them because sometimes they're like, "Man, I didn't do this, I didn't do that." But they were aware of it, and I'm like, "That is a
Uh-huh.
huge win because that's how you start to rewire your subconscious is, like, the awareness because usually the reason you fall into these patterns is because that is so unconscious, but when you the
Oh, so
awareness is the
autopilot.
first
Mhm.
thing that takes you out of it. So I'm like, the fact that you're aware is huge because now the next time you can take that pause and react differently. So yeah, that's
Yeah, and
amazing.
then also just coming back to the fact that, like, maybe I'm gonna get to a place where 7 out of 10 times I, behave in a way that I'm proud of, and then I have to be okay that 3 out of 10 times I'm gonna be a bitch still.
Yeah,
Like,
because
I
it's
have
never
to be
about
okay and just
perfection.
exactly, and that healing doesn't mean we become all of these things. It means we embrace who the fuck we are right here, right now, and we go, "How can I feel better about that interaction?" It's not about shaming, it's not about guilt, it's not about accountability, it's about this isn't the way I want to exist on this planet or in this experience. In this
Yeah.
experience, I want to be a person who regards the feelings and experiences of others as much as my own. My Leo moon ass has such a hard time with that. I want you to see this from my perspective and understand it bothers me more, it affects me more, my experience matters more. All the time. That's the thing I've struggled with my whole life, and I have felt
Yeah.
that kinda come up, like, again in the last week where it's like, "Yeah, but" but really it's harder for me, so let's focus on that and not necessarily your experience, and so I'm okay with that being a struggle of mine. It's like part of my design. It's gonna always be a thing that I'm like cognizant of. And
Yeah.
I can also say, all right, what's some things I could do just to feel a little better about those interactions? It's not about becoming perfect, guys. It's about just embracing all these flaws. Where, like, yeah, I want to grow and evolve as a human, but not because I'm not a great human already.
Yeah. And I feel like the moments where we don't respond in the way that we want, I started looking at those situations as an opportunity to practice self-compassion because I didn't first of all, I didn't used to do that at all. But also,
Yeah.
we're human beings. We have feelings. We're not perfect. We don't always respond the way that we want to, and that's okay.
Yeah. Well, and that's like the whole thing too about the more compassion we give ourselves, the more we're able to extend that to others. And it's funny because since I have thought to myself so many times, like, why would you even take that so personally when someone else is telling me their shit, right?
Yeah.
Like if he gets grumpy back at me, or is just grumpy in general, my initial response is, "No, the fuck he didn't," and then I'm like, Why are you acting like that has anything to do with you?" You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I guess if I'm grumpy first, then yeah, it would have something to do with me, but then shut the fuck up and go on. But there's been times, like, where I'm like, "Hey," and he's like, "Arr," because he's frustrated about something or whatever, and I'm like, and then immediately, because I've thought it about other people, I'm like, "Do you wanna waste your time on this? Do you wanna take that personally?" And I can't even, like, allow it because it's once the thought is introduced, I'm like, "No, that would be a really dumb waste of my time to be like, 'No, because you didn't smile when I walked in the room.'" But God, you know what? I would have used to have. Oh, I would have wasted some
Yeah.
time on that. I would have wasted so much time.
One of the hardest yet most valuable skills in life is just letting people be who they are and have whatever experience they have. Because, yeah, same. I
Yes,
used to spend so much time and
girl.
energy on it.
Mm-mm. Okay, let me ask you this, because it's holiday season again, and this comes up every holiday season, okay? I'm trying to decide how open I wanna be about this, because I have discussed it pretty openly before, but I've tried to stop discussing it, but here we go. My in-laws and I have a very challenging relationship. So much so that I have elected to not attend holidays for the last few years.
Yeah.
And so Brian and Charlie go to Thanksgiving and I just stay here. And they do the same on Christmas. And there's a little part of me that is still resentful of him for actually going. But also, well, there's so much because I actually think now I don't like some of the stuff they talk about around my daughter. So now it's like, oh, well, there's that whole aspect too. But let's pretend that's not the case and that this is just a thing between us, right? I've learned to recognize that I was just as much a part of the problem. Like that I had these expectations for how I wanted to be parented by them because, I really did
Mm,
look for a parenting relationship through anyone, friends, whoever, because I needed that so badly. And then they betrayed me by not meeting these unrealistic expectations because they didn't parent their own children like that either.
yeah.
And then on top of that, there is a lot of toxicity in this system. I mean, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot.
Okay.
And they are not, well, they're very, the parents are very deep in the Mormon culture. So there's that. Um, so that comes with its own little set of whatever. But really, truly, if I were to boil this down now, the it's like it's fine-ish, but they They don't have authentic conversations. They will very gladly sit and talk shit about one of their own children to you. I don't wanna be a part of
Mm,
that.
yeah.
But also, like, there's just no joy. It's a really weird dynamic. It's hard to describe. There are times when it's like we're baking cookies and whatever, because his mom is, like, so crafty and so creative. She's a very good grandmother in this regard. Um, but, like, that's kind of the only positive that I feel from interacting with them. So I don't go because they still trigger the fuck out of me, which I realize that part, like, that's my responsibility. But at the same time, there's no growth or evolution on their end. And so, like, I can show up different and they're not going to. And I feel like, yes, there's this part of me that shames myself for not just being more evolved and like, oh, I need to quit caring, let them be who they are, but, like, who they are is toxic in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
and so I don't wanna be around it, and so that's where I really struggle, where I really give myself a lot of grief sometimes is because, like, is it worth this? Is it like, I even kind of considered attending Thanksgiving this year, and so, like, not gonna happen, but I thought about doing it this year, but they part of what started all this is that, they do their Thanksgiving on a military post, and that's not Thanksgiving to me, and I don't like dealing with it. So, I'm like, "No, I don't." And there was a lot of hurt feelings in there because I wanted them to do one thing and da 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 da, because it was after my grandma died and I had nowhere to go for Thanksgiving, and you know what I mean? It was really
Oh,
upsetting. It was a whole
yeah.
thing. But, like, I can recognize my role in all of this. But again, nothing's changed on their end. Like, they'll be fake nice to me and stuff, but like, well, I think his dad genuinely likes me, but his mom does not. She does not, and she doesn't approve of it. Like, especially since I started getting a lot of tattoos and my nose pierced, and like, I'm the antithesis of anything she would want as a daughter-in-law. So it's just really hard. And I'm still just like I spend far too much time even thinking about this, but I feel like I'm the bad guy because I'm supposed to know better and do better, and yet I still let them trigger the shit out of me and whatever. But toxic is toxic. Like, how much are you supposed to take?
Yeah, and I feel like I have unpopular opinions about this, so I don't know if I'm a good person to have this conversation with, but first of all well, actually, first of all, I hate Christmas. I think it's like this forced fake holiday, and because I find it interesting, because you prefaced all of this by saying the holidays are coming up. So that alone shows me like how it's so embedded in society that like you have to be around family on your in the holidays and like you have to force this
Mhm.
connection. But not all of us were fortunate enough to have, you know, healthy family members. And so my other unpopular opinion, because I'm currently estranged with my mom because I've tried to have conversations with her so that we can both grow and evolve together, and they became very circular, and it's like, while I can accept her for who she is, I cannot accept how she treats me and continues to treat me, so I had to make the decision to no longer interact with her, and I think sometimes that's the decision you have to make because that's what listening to you talk, it's like you're going through your own evolution. And the fact that you are even recognizing your own role in the situation is huge. But if they're not changing anything and how they're interacting, then it's not healthy. And sometimes you have to make that choice. And I know it's looked down upon by society. Like I get tons of shit like, well, it's your mom and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, I
But it's
know,
like, you
yeah.
don't so, there is, like, part of you that has to learn how to deal with triggers and learn how to interact with people, but if they're not putting in that same effort, it can't just be that one-sided thing because it's exhausting, and nobody should play 100% of the role in any situation.
Yeah, and you know
Also,
what's
holidays
wild?
can be super triggering in general.
You so right about that. Especially, like, I know what all my triggers are around the holidays because, like, it really brings up all the loneliness and the you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But,
same.
like,
Like, I heard Christmas music
I
this weekend, and like,
You were like, "Hell
lost
no."
it.
Hell no, not already. Well, so I'm someone who cut off most of my family years ago. I mean, my parents died young and my grandma died 10 years ago, but I made a very active choice to not bring my children into harmful environments. So, like, my dad's side of the family has met my children, a few of them met my children, the older two, briefly at a wedding, and that's it. I don't have anything to do with them because I view them as toxic and they have been very harmful for me. The shit that I've taken is like, but your kids could have so much love. And I'm like, yeah, wrapped in criticism and shame. I don't
Yeah.
want them to have that kind of oh, because they could have fun with their cousins who could end up treating them the way my cousins treated me because of the system they were in. And what? So that my family can talk shit to them about their weight, about their makeup, about their hair, about their dress, like all of the things. No, that's not I cost benefit analysis and I said, "No, I'm not putting my children in harm's way like that." And so I've taken a lot of shit for a long time. And actually what started the huge conflict in like that blew everything up was a couple years ago. I make a yearly post like, "I don't give a fuck if this is your family or not. You don't have to spend the holidays with them because I choose not to and whatever." And I make this post every year. Just like on Mother's Day, I say, if Mother's Day is hard for you, log out. Don't subject yourself. I don't fucking get anywhere near Facebook around Mother's Day because it is excruciating for me to see people, my mom's the best and blah blah blah. It's not their responsibility to not post that shit. It's my responsibility to to deal with it the way I need to deal with
Amen.
it. So
Yeah.
I just stay away from it, you know? Father's Day, I don't know why it doesn't bother me as much, but I mean, some years it can, and so I choose to stay the fuck away from Facebook. But I posted my yearly blah blah blah. And um immediately his sister commented. Now, granted, this was after I started my podcast and everything. No one in his family has liked a single fucking status in all of this time,
Yeah.
but his sister immediately comments, and I was like, "Oh God." And then his mother came and attacked me on the status. And I was like, "The fuck?" And I actually handled this in a way that I never would have in the past. I actually called and confronted the situation. Because
Ah.
I'm telling you the God's honest truth, I wasn't thinking about them. And so I called and I said, he probably hears me saying this. Oh, well. I called and I was like, I feel like, and I made him be on three-way so that there was no,
Yeah,
and
there's no
so they didn't
triangulation,
know that he was listening to the conversation, but I was like, hey, I feel like there's some confusion. I'd like to clear that up. Well, you said family, so we're family.
but, like, society is, like, family over everything, but the people who make comments like that have, like, these loving, supportive parents and blah, 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 and
Right.
it's like, not all of us have been blessed with that. So I
Right,
have what I
or
call as a
you're so
family of
used to
choice. Yeah.
gaslighting yourself and minimalizing your experience. Bitch, I'm not
Or
taking
that.
that shit. I sure the fuck am not.
Yeah.
I am not. And so, yeah, I his dad was very happy that I called, like, so yeah, I figured it was something like that because I was like, it feels like maybe you don't look at my Facebook very often. That was the things I knew. The sister called immediately. It's like, Mom, blah, 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 because none of them look at my Facebook that much. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And well,
Yeah.
especially his mom's not really on Facebook. She has one and she posts her trips because they travel out of the country, like, they're gone more than they're home, right? And so she'll post that stuff and whatever, but she's very late to the
Like,
game when people
scroll.
post. Yeah, so I was like, "Oh, okay, she called you and, so dad was very glad for it to be wrapped up. But she was like, "Well, you said family and da da," and I just said, "Okay, I hear you, but I wasn't referring to you. I make these posts every year so that people understand that they don't have to whatever." Dad continued to be like, "Yep, makes sense. That makes perfect sense," whatever. I could tell his mom still didn't believe me and I really didn't give a fuck because I did everything I was supposed to do, right? Where I still have resentment is that my husband then called his mother a few days later to try to smooth it over. Bitch, if there was anything to smooth over, it was to defend your wife who did nothing wrong. And
Yeah.
so she still didn't believe that it wasn't about them, whatever. And so I was like, "Oh, guess who's getting blocked? All of you, because you have not liked or commented on a single thing I'm doing, but yet this is going to start World War III." And it's like, I think it was because I had chosen not to spend Thanksgiving with them for a few years. But It was because I don't want to do Thanksgiving this way, and you didn't like, I asked from a very broken place after my grandma died and was like, I don't have a family to, like, spend this holiday with 'cause, my brother would be there." Like, there was this whole thing that just went
Yeah.
away once because my brother moved to Texas at that time after my grandma died, and I just felt very alone in the world, like, it's just me, myself, and I. And I asked, "Can we please do Thanksgiving this way this year?" And they would not honor that. Okay, that's fine, but, like, I'm also allowed to have felt hurt. Did I make the hurt more personal than I should have? Absolutely, and that's where I can see so many times I did that. I know where I've gone wrong, and they haven't changed. They haven't changed a bit. So why would I put myself in the line of fire? And the longer we've gone, the more anxious I am to even be around his sister. Like, I haven't seen her in years, and I'm terrified to be in the same room with her. I don't wanna go places that make me feel that anxious.
Well, plus, I mean, that aspect is physical safety. And that's another thing because we're conditioned to always put ourselves in physical safety. Like, you don't cross the street without looking, you don't do things that are unsafe. But we don't receive that kind of instruction for our emotional safety. And I feel like we're actually criticized for that. Like, you don't go to these family gatherings because they're emotionally unsafe. I don't have conversations with my mom because they're emotionally unsafe, but those are criticized by society instead of being praised. Whereas if we jumped in front of a moving train, that would be criticized.
You're so right. Why am I stuck on this belief that if I was
Because,
as evolved spiritually, that I wouldn't be triggered, I wouldn't feel unsafe, like, I'm taking the responsibility, and I don't
yeah,
know how to let this go.
well, and this goes back to just how the goal is never perfection. The goal is never to not get triggered. You have feelings, you're allowed to feel however you feel. And when it involves someone else, if they're willing to have an emotionally mature conversation and work with you on that, that's different than them just like, let me ask you this. Like, just in response to, like, you not coming for Thanksgiving, are they ever curious about that? Like, "Hey, Melissa, why don't you wanna come?" Or are they just always critical and like, "Well, you didn't come, blah,
Just
blah, blah."
it's just very she hates us, so
See, so that's my point. Like, if they were curious and you could have an emotionally mature conversation about it, that is different than them not even having 1
they've
ounce
never
of
once
curiosity.
asked.
Yeah. So and again, I think it's like this conditioning. Like, you go on Instagram and it's like, you shouldn't be triggered. And it's like, we're not monks meditating on a mountain by ourselves. Like, we have
Thank
to interact
you.
with people every single day. You're going to get triggered. There are some people it's just going to be impossible to have a relationship with. And that's okay. You don't have to be friends or have good relationships with every single person you encounter. And family is, in my opinion, family is your family of choice. It's not who you're related to by blood or by marriage or anything else. It's who has the exact same values or very similar values as you. And you can have that relationship where you're thriving and growing together as opposed to like that constant, nobody wants to change or have an open mind or any of that.
Yeah. I gotta let go of the shame around this because ultimately I feel like it's all my fault. Even though logically and consciously I can
I
see where
know.
both of us play a role. Even now in this conversation, I'm playing a role in this because not that they'll ever listen, but I'm being quote unquote negative, whatever. But like I am willing to engage with anyone to repair if the intent is to repair and to move on in a better way. I
Yeah.
am, but you're right, no one's ever said, "What's the deal?" And if they did, I was met with criticism, like, not about holiday stuff because 'cause they've literally never asked, but other stuff like, "Why are we not just allowed to drop by unannounced, even if you're not there? Like, why if you're not there, can't we just drop by unannounced?" And I'm like, I just don't want you
See, and that's what I
to."
mean, like, the energy is that of instead of, like, a genuine, like, "Hey, what's the issue?"
Right,
It's
it's
more like,
adversarial.
"Why" it's more like, "Why aren't you conforming to our family system?"
Yes, and that's been the issue from day 1, from the
Yeah,
because literally, like, we had a pool in our old house. They would show up to swim. No phone call, no nothing. Show up to
Oh,
swim.
see,
There was so many boundary violations, so then I started actually stating the boundaries, like, instead of just internalizing it and being pissed, I started stating it, and I got a little bit of help from my husband who was willing to finally, after several years, hold that boundary with me, but he's such a people pleaser still that he just plays the middle ground, but he gaslights me, I'm not gonna lie, because 'cause he'll be like, "Just let them be who they are." Okay, at what cost? Because it's
yeah,
deeply painful to me. I'm not you. I'm not gonna keep shoving shit down, and it does hurt me when they do things like that. I'm not gonna pretend like it doesn't, and that was where I spent my whole life before, was just pretending whatever, blaming myself, and then fighting with them in my head all the time. It consumed so much of my life. I have so many stories. The day I gave birth, like, so many stories of boundary violations that I work really hard to at least let go now of the resentment so that I'm not living in that. But
yeah,
nothing changed, and I don't wanna go backwards. But yet, here I am. I mean, Thanksgiving isn't I'm usually, like, glad by the time everyone's out of the house and I don't get that much time alone. But Christmas can be kinda tough when everybody leaves to go, because the boys go with their dad up in the afternoon, and they go to, his parents, and I'm just, like, chilling. Last Christmas didn't bother me, I was glad to have a little bit of time by myself, but, like, some years it bothers me, and I'm
yeah,
like, "It really kinda hurts me that you just well, that's fine if you don't wanna go, but I'm going." I shame myself over that too, because 'cause I'm like, "Is it okay to be like, 'Damn, you coulda had my back?'" But also, I
yeah.
don't wanna take away from Charlie's experience, you know?
I was gonna say, I will say, I think it's unfair for you to make them choose sides because that's putting them in an awkward situation. Also, I'm trying to take their ages into consideration. They might not understand your point of view because all
Oh, I
they
don't
see is
mean the
that you're
kids,
choosing.
I just mean my
Oh,
husband. I don't mean the
oh,
kids at
okay.
all. No, no,
But
no, no, I don't
okay,
care.
but
Like, my boys especially, like, they're just going with their grandparents, like, I
yeah.
don't care at all about them, and I don't care about Charlie going, whatever. It's my husband making this choice that I'm like, "Damn, okay."
Yeah.
Especially
Okay.
we've always done it that way because, they have very, like, steadfast traditions in the boys' family, and so they've always, always, always gone at 3 o'clock to the grandparents with their dad for Christmas, always. I was like, "I'm having them Christmas morning no matter what, you're welcome to come over, but I don't give a shit, and then you can have them in the afternoon." So we've always done it that way, I'm so used to it, but with my husband, it's just like, "Honey, you never would have had to have chosen if you had just stood up for me. If you like, it would, you know what I mean? Like, you're just riding the middle ground instead of actually, like, having a conversation with your fucking family. This isn't my family." I would have a wide open conversation if I felt it necessary.
And I first of all, I totally understand your point of view, but if he said something to his family, do you think they'll be receptive to it?
No.
So that's why he doesn't say anything because he already knows that
Oh,
too. And I'm
totally,
not saying it's
totally, but
right.
it's like, where's the line, man?
I don't
But
know.
then again, like, the more, like, over the last few years, I'm like, "Well, you probably did the right thing, because, like, marriage is possibly not forever, and this is your family and whatever, so do whatever you wanna do." But that's the part that starts to frustrate me a little bit, is like, you made a choice to not care that but maybe I'm just personalizing it, and that's what I remind myself, is that he didn't none of his choices have anything to do with me and everything to do with his safety.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the issue is that he's loyal to his family and not himself, and that is coming out of his
Mhm.
own emotional safety.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
I gotta
saying
get
it's
better at
right
remembering that.
because I've come to the point where my emotional safety is more important, even if that means not being loyal to things outside of myself. So I do think there is room for growth there, but I I I see where he's at.
No, absolutely, and I just have to do better at soothing myself in those moments. It's always around the holidays that it comes back up
I
because
know.
the truth is, I want to be able to be included. I wanna do normal fucking holiday shit. I don't wanna sit around contemplating bigger lessons and whatever. Like, I why can't it just be fucking better? And y'all just fucking apologize for your shit and work at being nicer to me. Like, why is it so hard to be nice? I just want it to be normal. I don't wanna have to, like, whatever. But maybe I just need to come up with my own traditions. Although, I mean,
So
like
I
I
was
said,
just
last
gonna
year,
say
I was
that.
really happy to be alone.
I was just gonna say that, like, just create your own tradition. We should have a call on Christmas. I don't like doing things on Christmas. I think it's such a fake, forced holiday, so I don't do anything to celebrate.
I think I put so much into Christmas as a mom out of just that whole, like, trying to be better than my parents or whatever, you know what I
Mm,
mean? And it's like,
but you already
especially
are.
oh, absolutely. But, like, with the little one, it's, like, still magical, like, she still wants to wake up early and whatever, so, I mean, I love celebrating Christmas with them, and which we do in the mornings, whatever. It's just the later shit, like, I don't know if my feelings about Christmas will change later, but I think for me, as a mom, like, I love spending that time with the family and whatever. I'm also not that sad whenever it's like, I get a little bit of time to watch some trash shit on, Netflix or whatever. Um, yeah, I just I need to like just quit with the over analyzing all of it and just be like, this is what it is, move through it and whatever. Like
Yeah, I
maybe I
feel
just
like
need to be like, yeah, I feel a little lonely and then move on.
I still like there's a part of you that's still, like, grasping for their approval somehow.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think I'm just still feeling incredibly rejected and allowing
Yeah,
that to mean something. Like I can feel rejected without assigning any meaning or morality to it. And I
exactly.
think that's what's holding me back.
Yeah,
Now that we're talking about it, I think that's exactly what it is that it still hurts me to feel rejected when I could just feel the rejection, even feel that hurt, but then move forward instead of
yeah,
doing what we all do, which is get caught up in a
make
thought
sense
loop.
out of it, which is it's
Yes,
never
and
gonna
it doesn't
make
have to
sense.
make sense. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Well, there we go. Resolution.
I love how we always talk things out loud, and then it's like, "Oh, that's so much easier to do it that way."
I know. Why is it so easy to get like trapped in your brain like there's no possible solution to this. And then like the solution is that you just understand there's not a solution. Feel your feelings and move the fuck on, bitch.
And I feel like that's always the solution, but it's so hard to arrive there. I do the same thing. I overthink because I just want to make sense of it. Some things just don't make sense, and that's okay.
Some things just don't. Yeah, no, you're right, you're right. I love it because yeah, I guess that's where I'm getting stuck is I need to accept that I feel rejected by them and I need to feel the rejection and move forward and not get lost in my thoughts and trying to analyze all of it because man, the thought of spending the holidays with them actually sounds atrocious still. And so why am
Yeah,
I trying to gaslight myself into believing it'll be fine and go do something that's harmful for me?
because that's the society conditioning. It's a time for love and gathering and blah, blah, blah.
Well, because I also feel rejected by everybody else whenever I say, like, "This is my choice on holidays. This is what I do."
I hear you.
And then I'm like,
Oh,
"You're
yeah.
right. I am the problem. I'm the problem. Why am I listening to other people? Damn. What do
Because,
they
and again,
know?"
the people who are giving you a hard time about it have loving and supportive families, so they don't get it.
Well, some of them don't. Some of them I'm like,
Oh,
"Baby, you need a little less time with your family too," but whatever. But it's either they
or
have a
they're
different
drinking the
experience.
Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Right, right. So, they're like, they've been ingrained that this is my family and da 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 da, or they really do have a better experience. Like if you leave a holiday interaction being like, damn it, every year, there's your sign. But if you're the person who's like, we love each other on holiday, whatever, great for you, but that's not my experience at
Yeah.
all.
I think we should
Yeah.
normalize talking about stuff like this.
Yeah, I seem to have a big conversation around it every year because I gaslight myself into feeling like I'm the bad person is true. It's that fucking shit of my grandma. That's actually what it is. My grandma's in my
Yeah.
head being
Oh,
like,
I
"You're
know.
mean. You're mean. You're just a mean you have nobody likes you because you're so mean to everyone and you create conflict wherever you go and like maybe you need to look at how you're the center of the conflict." And yeah, that was true. Like, whenever I had to start this journey, I did have to see where I had created some real victimhood in myself. But also, some people are fucking rude as fuck. And I
Yeah.
don't have to pretend to be some holier than thou person and just be like, doesn't affect me at all because I know that's about you and this is about me. Bullshit, it does affect me. Whether I let it ruin my life or not, the way I used to let it is different. But yeah, I'm a human first. So damn it, I need to remember that. I'm a
I
human
was just gonna
first.
say, this is your homework assignment. You need to re-listen to this entire episode and just listen to yourself talk. Because from my point of view, you are protecting your emotional safety. You're protecting your physical safety. You're like doing all these things. And like, what is wrong with any of that? Like, I don't see anything wrong with the
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you're actually
I have
being
some real
strong
deep
and
seated
emotionally
shame
mature.
over those things.
Yeah. But like, from my point of view, I'm like, this is amazing. More people need to be doing this for themselves.
I'm going to make Brian listen too.
Yeah, you should listen together.
It might
Because
be
I just
awkward.
I'm like, there have been several moments of this conversation, I'm like, "She just needs to listen to herself talk."
Gosh. Well, I guess you're right because in talking, I was like, "Well, okay, it's okay that you feel rejected by them." Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
there is part of me the same that I craved from my parents, or even though they've been dead forever. The whole reason I went to visit a medium is to ask them if they were proud of me. Like, there's that child in me that just wants to
Oh,
be
yeah.
embraced. I just want to be
Yep.
accepted, and I need to understand. I'm still trying to put a round peg in a square hole and I'm not going to be embraced by these people, just like I'm not embraced by a large group of society. Like, it doesn't matter, and I can feel that rejection and then understand that it doesn't say shit about me, but I'm allowed
Yeah.
to feel that rejection. I don't need to feel like I'm the immoral person just because I'm, in conflict with them to me, it's not an act of conflict. Like I messaged them about Charlie's shit coming up and whatever, and they're gonna come. But like in terms of like who I spend my free time with,
Yes.
I don't want to do it. But yeah, I think I'm not recognizing the need of my inner child by pretending like this is something different than what it is. And I need to honor that part of me while also accepting that it's okay to feel rejected by them and then just move on.
And also, the last thing I'll say about this, like listening to this as an outsider, because everything that you've just told me was extremely emotionally mature. And I'm also very aware of your growth journey. So there are many past versions of you that may not accept accountability for the role you play or may not have protected your emotional safety. So my point is, your husband could have married a lot of other women, but he married you, and the fact that they're not willing to work with you to have a emotionally safe relationship, the way I look at it, that's their loss because 'cause they're missing out on an opportunity to have a relationship with a really good human being, and so that's another thing that I just wanna point out
Oh, thank
because it's like
you.
people who live their lives like that, like, "This is our family, this is our system, and everyone has to conform to that," they're missing out on other good human beings.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I just need to remember like they've made very active choices to not fix this. And so how could it just be my fault? 'Cause
Exactly.
that's the overwhelming feeling at the end of the day is that if I was better, if I was more, if I was anything, it wouldn't be like this, and that's not the fucking truth. That's just old narratives, and so,
I was just
wow,
gonna
I didn't
say,
even realize
also
how much of that I was carrying.
It's because when you're raised by a narcissist, they make everything your fault. So that's just like,
Yep.
because I'm the same way. It's like ingrained in my brain. My immediate reaction to this day is to blame myself. But now I have the discernment to be like, well, is it really my fault? But I still have those thoughts like, oh, it's my fault. But then I can take that moment to be like, but is it really? And sometimes it may be, but a
Yeah.
lot of times it's not.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's different to take some accountability versus all of it.
Yeah. Because
You
the
are
truth
only
is, we
part of the equation.
Yeah, but the truth is we're place some accountability in everything going on in our life,
Sure.
but it's never
Sure.
100. Every single thing is not 100% our accountability. That's just especially when there's other people involved.
And I think that's what I've done all these years is like, well, Melissa, if
Same,
you just did this, it'll be better. But see,
same,
that's what created deeper levels of betrayal because I would do this and not get
and then it
the
doesn't work.
result I expected. Right. And it's like, no, honey, like you've until they are ready to, and it's not like I'm initiating those conversations because to me, I'm far past it being worth my time. But every
Yeah.
fucking year around this time, it becomes a whole thing in my brain. Whereas other parts of the year, I'm just like, oh, well, it is what it is. So whatevs. But every year, and it is because I do long for family. I do. I long for a day of I mean, just in general, like with friendships and whatever, like I do long for silliness and joy and like all of these things and it becomes more blaring around the holidays, the things that
No, I
are
agree.
not present.
And that's why I hate
But
Christmas because it's like it's supposed to be this time where families get together and there's all this love and support and whatever. And I never had that. So it just feels so lonely and isolating to me.
yes. And then also if you don't have the ability to make the magic, like if you're struggling financially or whatever and you can't do the things that you used to do or that other people whatever, then where does that leave you? There's so many unrealistic expectations put on us as
Yeah.
individuals around the holidays to show up
Well,
as an
also,
inauthentic version of ourselves.
yeah. Well, also, like to your point, it's so commercialized too. So there's that. Like, and that's why
Yeah,
I hate
there's a
it.
lot.
Like, I think I think the whole principle has been lost. It's like highly commercialized. Also, okay, it's about like love and surrounding yourself with people you love, but why can't every day be like that? Why do we need a holiday, a religious holiday at that, to celebrate that?
Right. Right. Religious. But no, I feel you on that. I'm like,
Let's not talk
yeah.
about religion.
Yeah. Not today. Well, I actually feel a ton better, truly. Thank you for listening
Oh,
and for
good.
being so validating
Yeah,
and
I
stuff because
I
I
think
really
you're
do
on the
give
right
myself
path
some
and you're
grace.
making very healthy decisions. That's my opinion.
Well, thank you. I feel better about everything in my life. Shit. I'm like, okay, I just gotta get back. I just gotta get back to me. I was letting some shit get to me that didn't need to. So, okay.
If you
Hope
ever
you're feeling
need
good.
a
Shit.
Monday morning hype session, let me know.
No kidding. That's why I love these, man.
I know,
I
I
always
do
feel
too. It's like
so
it's
much
a really
better.
good way to start off the week, yeah.
Yes, yeah, and there's always, like, I'm a little lazier on Mondays and stuff, so I'm always a little blah, and then I'm just like, "Okay, I'm ready for the week now."
Yeah, same.
I love it. Well, any parting words?
Um, I think the parting word for today is your emotional and physical safety should always be your number one priority.
You're exactly right,
And I think we tend
and
to
thank you
forget
for
the
listening.
emotional safety part.
Yes, and that it's just as important, and
Yeah.
stop gaslighting yourself to believe it's not.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with you if something triggers you. Like, yeah, you might have some more work to do to figure out what the root of that is, but that work isn't to be done so that you can go put yourself in the presence of people who don't value you.
Exactly. That is very well said.
Thank
Boom.
you. Boom, mic drop, bitch.